wondering, so you call this a modest success by the considering the number of blind people in India. And if you're looking at 2005, 6, 7, the idea of startups in India was not very common at the time. Do you think if something very similar, such a similar project comes along from now on, will it be a better success story because young people are ready to take?
You see, the disability sector is a little difficult sector. Okay, so I am not sure, even I am not clear. I will talk about in my second section where we think we have a startup potential, but this is this type of devices do not have a startup potential as yet. Okay, so let me explain to you why. So actually, I was involved in a startup starting from 2002. Okay, so which is even today surviving, and at least it become two companies. One is called Critical Solutions, one is called Vehance Technologies. It was started as a critical secure scan, and Vehance is doing extremely well. So I won't say it was early days, but started happening. 2002 was the first faculty student startup. Ours was from IIT Delhi. But the challenge in the disability sector is globally the user does not pay for the device. It is either the government or it is the charity. So now when it is a government or the charity to actually rely on any type of a market, so there is a need, but they do not have the power to buy it, and these are very unpredictable. So even today, for example, suddenly the demand for smart cane has picked up. So out of the 15,000, I think 80% of the devices have been bought by the government. Okay, so the device is accepted under a scheme called ADIP, which is assisted devices for impaired persons, and under that scheme they spend money for different disabilities, for visually impaired and so on. And interestingly, this device has now gone into the list of devices which Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributes to the disabled. Okay, whenever so on his birthday in Navsari in Gujarat, he distributed 1100 smart canes. Okay, and now so suddenly there is a huge demand from the government to buy this because it has entered that list of, and there is this Accessible India campaign which this government has launched in the last 1.5 years, and the funding available under ADIP has suddenly increased. So you can't do, very hard to do startups with, when even you make a device, it is not the customer, it has decisions, economic decisions, political decisions, very uncertain in terms of, and the affordability is very important. So she was raising this question of affordability. Let me just give you a example. So there is only one competitor for us globally. There is a device called UltraCane which comes from UK, and interestingly it is also a university product. It came from University of Essex, transferred to this company, but at the time when we actually started the project and did our Indian patenting, filed our Indian patents, this company did not exist. What had happened was it originated in early 2000, late 1980 2000 using a similar technology, and then know-how was transferred and the company went bust. So it was not available, seen on the net, you could not see any products when we did initially, but then this reappeared. So it did exist for some time, 3-4 years till 2004-5, and then 2008 or 9 it reappeared after we have done the product, but it sells for 680 pounds, so roughly $1,000. Okay, so and our device, the cost is around 3,500 rupees, so roughly $60. So there is really no comparison. So this is an opportunity. So that way developing things in India for people with disabilities is a huge opportunity. The reason is like this: large number of people who need the devices compared to, let us say, European countries which are much smaller, and also because of a much more developed healthcare, the number of children also born with disabilities, or because they get into such problems, so a lot of things which happen at the very childbirth or even when the child is conceived, which could lead to the child not having a proper vision. but that is unlikely to happen. In the cases will be much lower. So, the need is very high, but there the society can actually afford high margins. Low volume, high margin is the what actually defines the industry in the developed countries. Small companies doing some devices, and in this particular case the device did not become popular there also because the need itself did not exist. There are two things that it actually now the device does. One it does is the safety, detecting obstacles between knee and head. Such obstacles are not permitted in a public infrastructure. In any European country or in US, you cannot buy a window air conditioner, put it into a window which actually obstructs the corridor, half the corridor, not permitted. Okay. Similarly, if there is a road which actually could be unsafe, they will trim it. They will not let it happen. So, there, and of course, the banners will not be allowed to be put in the type of banners our lawmakers put. Municipal commissioner lives here, right on the footpath, obstructing the footpath. So, those things are not allowed. So, the need itself is much lower. Okay. So, when we talked to some people in UK, they said yes, we have some need of this in the rural infrastructure, where such things, you are in the working in the farm, there you may not have a structured environment. Structured environments will not have this. So, the need was not there. Second thing is, but what is interesting is now we are seeing a demand everywhere globally, because it also does non-contact detection. If you are in a place where there are many people, it is not that you have to touch the feet of the person before knowing there is a person standing, because this will actually vibrate. So, it gives you a non-contact detection which gives them a certain dignity in mobility. It is not safety issue, it is more of a dignity issue. Of course, in Indian circumstances a non-contact also means safety, because assume an animal sleeping on the road, the cane will detect it, but the cane will detect it after you touch the animal, which is a dangerous situation, because you may be touching the eyes of the animal, you may you are poking the cane at a place which the animal could react very violently to such a poking. Here it gives you a non-contact. So, we are getting now lot of interest outside India also, and in even in places like US and all, we have very interesting letters from the Disability Commissioner's office in New York, at Oregon, that they would like to have these devices. For certain other strategic reasons, we have not still launched it in developed countries, we are launching it in developing countries. But the challenge is, so this the needs are different, that is one thing, because I will also talk to you about another device we are making, and we will also show you how the requirement, the development has to be done locally. Affordability is a very key focus of the lab. Some of the things we are doing, it is not that globally it is not done, but we want to do a price breakthrough. Breakthrough means 10 times reduction, and scope exists. Lot of things you can make which is actually 10 times lower than international market price, because they have, as I told you, small companies, high margin, low volume. If you have a low volume, and because all of these require some training, this also actually requires, if somebody has to use this device effectively, it needs to go 1 or 2 hours of training. So, we have today 45 channel partners across the country, and each of these channel partners have at least 2 trainers. So, in any state you tell me, except northeast we still do not have people, but everywhere else we have local agencies which will give the training. Okay. Setting up that infrastructure has been a huge effort in the last few years after the device. The device itself was launched in March 2014, but in the last 2.5 years we have built all this training infrastructure and the material and web. Yeah, so the affordability is a very key part of the lab, and that remains a challenge. So, the startup part is complicated, as I told you, because so there is a uncertainty of not the need, but of the actually paying customers is a very difficult challenge, and with government it is very hard to do any prediction. So, in this case our our industrial partner, so we price it so that he gets a small margin. so that because he has also to do warranty period maintenance and also margins are important. So, we do give it and we do periodically raise it, but it is not a high margin product. So, he is not, it is not a bread and butter for him, it is only something which sort of keeps him active, and there is some production, that some, let us say, revenue comes in because these devices are now getting sold, but he will not lose his sleep if the he could still be able to pay them, keep his production, because other products that he has have they are commercial. So, that makes it challenging, that lot of dissemination also has to happen with NGOs which are non-profit, and non-profit NGOs feel very uncomfortable to deal with for profit. If you have, if they think that something can be made very inexpensive and you are selling it. So, there are a lot of issues that come in, which makes things complicated in this space. So, startups, I would say, innovation, yes, there is a lot of scope for innovation, but commercialization still, because the people themselves cannot afford to pay for the devices, somebody else has to pay for the devices.
Sir, actually I don't know the correct technology right now, but what about, like, you said it will be detecting above the knee currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knee to head.
Knee to it. But what about some dogs or straight, something sleeping on the ground in that case?
No. So, that depends on the distance. Okay. So, then when I say knee to head, it does not mean that on the ground it will not detect it. Okay. So, the cane itself is supposed to detect it, but at a distance 2 meters it will go to the ground. So, it will detect it even before you reach. Okay. But the let us say if you come closer, it will actually detect knee to head. No, but so the way that this one has to be adjusted is, so yeah, so it is not that it does not detect on the ground, but depends on, let us say if I reach very close to the device obstacle, it will not detect below the knee, but at a distance, yes, it will detect below, because it is a sort of a cone that goes. So,
And I'm just thinking, like, whether in further advancement, like, can it be activated with some GPS system?
yes, those are possibilities. So, we are also started some work on those things. So, so we can give better navigation and so on and so forth. So, we have a project running, but still the major challenge is one is of course GPS is easier because the GPS part, but the accuracy for GPS is good for driving. GPS accuracy what is commercially available is not very good for walking, and we are talking of a walking solution. So, what we are trying to do is to integrate other sensors to do it. But as far as this device is concerned, it is a fairly simple device. So, we are not saying that this solves all the problems, because keeping the cost and also the technology and the industrial, this was important. But yes, there are many things that can be done which other sensors can be integrated.
So among this population of 15 million of differently abled, like
Now, differently abled is almost 30 million. 15 million is half of them are visually impaired.
visually impaired. So you have been able to provide this smart cane to almost 15,000 of them. So can we bridge this big gap of 15 million? Is there a way out?
Now, we see the 4 to 5 million of them is what we think can use the cane. Okay, so, this 15 million includes a large number of them who have mobility issues because of age. So, we are looking at the population which is actually will want to be independently mobile. So, we think that basically anybody who is school going, he is in a job or he needs to go out of the house. So, even if you consider the age group of below 45 or so, there are around 5 million people. Okay, and so that is the population that is a potential population, though the visually impaired is much larger. Okay, out of that 5 million, so that is the challenge, that how do we reach there. So, presently most of it, so we work with charities who want to. So, the challenge there is also very different. So, we have 5,500 organizations registered in the country which work for the visually impaired, just for visually impaired with Ministry of Social Justice. Some of them are clearly fly by night, like they just want to take some government funding, but some of them are good organizations. Some of them are technically also very good. The people who are also technically sound today, they are all our channel partners. But each one of them is a charity, and they can have bandwidth to work only with a small number of people. Each best of these are connected to 400, 500 people. They have no mechanism to scale. They are not commercial. They depend basically on 1 or 2 persons intellectual capability. He or she is connected with the neighbors, with the local philanthropists, Rotary Club, this Lions Club, these type of people, or even companies who are want to do CSR. They are connected, and so his ability to absorb funds is limited. These people's money ability to fund this organization is limited, and that is it. So, there is no scaling possible, and they are doing, some of them are doing wonderful job. There are organizations which are really, you go there, spend an hour or two, you get re-energized, that yes, you need to do something. So, they are very good people and very good committed people, but they are all small, okay, 500, 600. So, it is not even clear, though the census shows these numbers and clearly they exist. Where do they exist? Even reaching them is a challenge. In our society, a large number of them are just at home, okay, protected by the family, and not really registered or going out anywhere. And so, how do we actually reach them is itself a challenge. So, because then only you can do that. So, the ADIB scheme is the primary scheme that presently we are relying on, which is a government scheme, but they also, though I would say the scheme is quite good today, they are giving devices up to 12,000 rupees. So, now in the latest scheme, this is getting bundled with a smartphone. They are giving a smartphone and a smart cane free to the needy visually impaired. But point is, they have to first go to an organization, fill a form, and then they will get it. They do not even know, so how which organization, where, how do you fill a form, and these organizations are not able to reach them. So, this is really a challenge of actually accessibility, because there is no, if you ask anybody, there is no agency or organization which you can even commercial. So, there is only first for profit has come one company called Barrier Break, which started some 5-6 years ago. It is the only company which is selling devices for the disabled in this country, just one company, and this company is basically working at the top of the people who are affluent, they get a lot of imported devices, they have devices. So, it is commercially viable today, but it has a very small footprint. Okay. So, so that is the challenge. So, reaching is really a challenge. So, even if you make an affordable device.
So, when you were talking about the grip, so you said the grip was made in such a way so that it was like compatible to most of the people who use it. So, does the grip vary widely amongst people?
Yeah, so the way they hold the cane actually vary widely. Somebody holds it like this, somebody holds it like this, somebody holds it like this. Okay. So, now the challenge was earlier grips that we made, so were okay for one grip, but the other person holds it, it was not suitable. So, what we did was, so a grip was made in plaster of Paris, flexible, and given to all types of people, and it kept on getting deformed. The way they were holding it, rotated, and then we actually reverse engineered. So, this is not by, so the so this particular is a 3D modeling that has actually been done of what the deformation happened. So, rather than deriving it from, so the equations have been derived actually from the surface equation, from this model have been derived, and then the grip has been produced, which has worked out extremely well. So, that is the way that the design has been done.
So, are there any off-the-shelf components or open source hardware in the device?
This is not open source hardware, but so the challenge is actually the, so the presently it is all like know-how transferred to this company, and this company produces it under license from this. But being a type of an hardware which requires molds and all that, making open source does not, has no meaning actually. So, unless for example, even this mold costs so much, the plastic injection mold to actually produce this, and all of this has been funded from the Wellcome Trust project. So, just making a board will not actually help anybody. So, that is not the. So, the mechanical part of it is also pretty complex to actually design.